You're listening to the Grit to Growth podcast. Real talk with real business owners and professionals who built their freedom the hard way and now want more time, money, and impact.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Grit to Growth podcast. I'm Levi with Mailbox Money here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Today, I'm excited to sit down with Alex Peterson, the owner and baker behind Baking Up a Storm, located inside the Blue at Lake Lorraine. Alex has built a business that's all about bringing people together through great food and creativity. Alex, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir. So why don't you start at the beginning, give the people a little bit of background on yourself, and then we'll get into what got you into Baking Up a Storm.
Yeah, I'm Alex. I am originally from Iowa, Northwest Iowa, a small town, Battle Creek, Ida Grove, not too far from Sioux Falls. My wife and I moved to Sioux Falls in 2020. She works for the government, so we kind of got relocated here, and we moved just in time before COVID started. So kind of got the feel of Sioux Falls before all of that happened, and
What
yeah,
a time, huh?
yeah, yeah.
That's
But yeah, I've kind of always had a passion for baking and kind of started the business before we moved to Sioux Falls and just kind of took a few years off and then took the leap and went ahead and opened up the bakery.
So then on your earlier days before Baking Up a Storm, were you always kind of in the food industry, or what did that look like?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. A post just came up on Facebook 17 years ago. I was in my first culinary class. So yeah, I've always been in the industry. I went to culinary arts school, so I have a culinary arts restaurant management degree. My whole side has been mainly in the kitchen and restaurants to catering to hotels, high-end catering. The baking part was just always a passion and decided to take that leap and to do a bakery versus being in the corporate world in restaurants.
That's awesome. So then, let's get into kind of the starting of the business and everything. People are always curious on starting a bit. What was that journey like for you, starting from the business side of things?
Yeah, I've had the restaurant side, so like the management side, and always had the back of corporate kind of telling you how to run things, but not like doing it yourself. So
Yep.
that was kind of a whole new experience. Back in 22 is kind of when I decided that I was going to take this leap when the build was getting built. When the Blue was getting built, I was kind of doing the farmers markets and wanting to expand the bakery into more of a bakery, I guess, instead of just like the cottage food law. And my current job was kind of going downhill. So it was kind of one of those where the Blues didn't being built, they needed a tenant spot, and I kind of took that leap. So from once I initially signed my contract, I started really looking into everything. So like the health inspection to how to design a kitchen and where to get restaurant equipment and all of that to QuickBooks to payroll. I mean, like just everything. I kind of already started doing all of that, but like that was initial. Okay, I need to get on this and
It's
learn how
real
to do
now.
everything. Yeah, so it started off really slow, just me into the business, but then I hired on an employee, then hired on another one, just as sales kind of grew. And then I
For
kind of, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say for those of the listeners that don't know, where I do these podcast interviews are actually inside the Blue. So Alex is my neighbor next door, and he gets to tempt me every morning walking in with all of his different goodies and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So the Blue is kind of one of those where it was a small space to start off with, since I was new to the area, wanted to get people to know my name, who I am. It's kind of a good start off, and the goal is to expand eventually in the next few years into something bigger. But yeah, just kind of see how that goes.
Yeah, so obviously I get to taste all your stuff. I'm very partial to, and my family, we love ordering your cupcakes. You want to tell people kind of what's all on your menu and what other things you're doing, maybe besides baking?
Yeah, so we do cupcakes like Levi said, but we also have cheesecakes, the bars, the cookies, um, about any dessert thing. We specialize in kolache, so the Czech pastry. Um, And then we also do breakfast and lunch. So we have breakfast quesadillas to bagels to burritos, and then lunch sandwiches, soups, and salads, as well as catering for any corporate event, weddings, to about anything about up to 200 people. So.
Can you tell us a little bit more? You obviously you said you were starting at farmers market, and I've seen you over here at the Lake Lorraine. What is that kind of experience like, and how come you continue to do it?
Yeah, so basically to get my name out there, I started doing all the markets in town that I could get into. So that was like Lake Lorraine Farmers Market. There's some vendor fairs at the fairgrounds, the downtown markets, 605 Made at Night Market. Anything that is basically that's not super expensive to get into, that is in the public, where I can get public to know who I am and talk about the business. The nice thing
Mm,
with Lake Lorraine is, since I am at Lake Lorraine, it is actually free for me to attend, which is kind of a nice part. But also, I can advertise where I'm at, show them where I am at within Lake Lorraine, and also it kind of gets new customers to me. Um, and then I get to talk about the bakery and who I am. So it's
yeah.
a it's nice because it's a different crowd of people that go to the market versus what goes to the bakery myself. But if I get to know people through that and they get to try my product, hopefully I will see them in the future at the bakery.
That makes perfect sense. So obviously, Alex, I've seen you, and most people know just running a business is hard enough, but running a bakery is a lot of work. You got some early mornings to get stuff ready and some long days. What kind of keeps you motivated and keeps you pushing forward?
I think a lot of it is because it's my passion, it's my dream. I've always wanted to have my own business, no matter what it was. And also, I think the big thing is seeing people's smiles and when they try my product and get to hear the compliments that people give me and tell me, hey, it's a great job. This tastes like my grandmother's, or I never had this before. This is really good. This is better than this. So that kind of keeps me moving pretty long. And it shows me that I'm doing the right thing and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
The grandmother's compliment has to be a really good one every
Yeah,
year.
there's a
It's
lot of
hard.
that with the kolaches. So with my recipe is from my culinary instructor. She was Czech, and this is her recipe. I've just kind of added a few things to it for the cost of ingredients and just for today's world. I know what people kind of want and the flavors I use, but a lot of compliments on it tastes like their grandmother's. Especially being in the Czech area with being down close to Yankton and everything, it's a big
Yep,
compliment. And not
that's
being Czech,
awesome.
so it's a massive compliment. So
That is
yeah.
a huge one. Every business owner kind of faces challenges. You kind of mentioned that you were self-taught and everything. What's one of the biggest lessons you've learned through the ups and downs here?
A lot of it I think I have learned is you got to ask for help. I can't do everything. So like the accounting side of things, I finally just hired on an accountant to take care of that. I still do the day-to-day stuff, but just the background stuff of taxes and learning all that. I've also hired on a marketing team for I don't have to do with my marketing. I was doing that, but I can't be baking and plus answering every question that comes through Facebook or Google Ads. So just being able to lean on others to do it for you and lose that control has helped a lot.
Yeah, that I've it's been coming up more and more, and I've actually interviewed a couple people who they're doing third party, either HR or third party um customer service, and I think it's becoming more and more prevalent in the world. Have you already started to see some benefits from that then?
Yeah, I have. So, like, for instance, I hired on a company out of Chicago that does all my marketing, but mainly they do search engines. They have 8 search engines that they take control of, and the big one is Google. What I was paying for one Google ad a month is what they cost me a month to do all that. So for them just to keep updating my Google, they know the SEOs, they know how to update everything, how to beat the algorithm. I don't know how to do any of that stuff, so for us to update my Google profile every 45 days. It creates a new algorithm, it creates new product, it gets people to see new things that I just don't have time to do and they can do it for me.
That makes perfect sense. I always liked it, and I've brought it up before. The who, not how mentality helps you focus on what you're best at and what you're passionate about while still growing a business. So that's awesome that you're adopting into that. For our listeners who are thinking about turning their passion into a business, what's some advice you'd give them there?
Go start with the game plan, like know what you want to do. But also you got to do your research. There's so many new things that change daily. Um, if you have a mentor, make sure you talk with them, like how they did it. Also check with your local officials. There's a lot of people out there to help you for free, give you free advice on how to do things. So I really push on that. There is, especially here in South Dakota, the South Dakota Development Center is a free um, tool you can use. You can go to them. They can help you how to do a market plan, a business plan, financial plan, just to know like is it worth what you want to do. So I would say just really look up all the free tools that Sioux Falls has to offer in South Dakota, and kind of reach out to all your mentors to do it because there's never a good time to open up your own business, and sometimes you just got to do it and do it. So if you're really passionate about it, I would say just go for it.
I love that piece of advice. Alex, I know obviously your wife and your daughter, you seem to have a pretty good balance between your work and family and things you love to do outside the bakery. How, what's your advice to people who are looking to create that balance?
I mean, it's a balance you have to learn how to do. I think my biggest thing is learn how to say no to people. Yeah, you want the business, but you also have to have a life outside of work. And so I've learned how to say no to people. Um, Between that and then also make sure you're not overworking yourself. In the bakery, yeah, I could work 12, 13 hours a day, but a lot of that starts in my early morning. So yeah, I mean, I go to bed super early at night, but I want to make sure I'm up enough, take my daughter to bed, have quality time with my wife. So yeah, I may have to cut into my sleep a little bit, but I mean, it's all for the plus. Also make sure you have days off. I'm closed Sunday and Mondays. Yeah, I could be open on Mondays, but I need that quality time by myself, business time. Um, yeah, so make sure you have days off. Don't overwork yourself where you can have that family time. And
Yeah.
also, you're your own boss, so you can close whenever you want.
That
Yes,
is a nice perk of it.
yes, you need to be open, but you can close on the holidays. You don't have to be open every holiday. Um, if you have a random day throughout the week, there's something going on, just close. I mean, people will, I mean, they will forgive you. So,
People understand, that's for sure. That's a great piece of advice. I think people often get caught in the trap of you have to be open all the time. You need to be working, grinding. But like you alluded to, if you do that, you're just going to burn yourself out and things aren't going to be as good as they can be.
yeah, all that work you put into business, that first year, okay, it's pretty crucial to set the boundaries for everything. But after that, once you have that business established, you got to make sure you take care of yourself. Otherwise, you will burn out. And yeah, I mean, you don't want all that work to go to waste. So,
That's awesome. Well, I got a couple rapid fire questions. You don't have to think too hard on them, and they can be as long or short of answers as you want them to be. I'll throw you an easy one. Well, potentially easy one. What's your favorite cupcake flavor that you've ever made?
my favorite current one is the Snickers cupcake. I used to be able to eat it all the time, but now with me having a tolerance with nuts, peanuts not a nut, I can't do it. So, but
All right. What's one thing that your family always does together to keep you and them grounded?
we always go on family walks together. With us three, the dog. We try to go as much as possible when it's nice outside, just get the exercise and just have fun. Gives us a good time to chat. What's going on?
It's awesome. Do you have a favorite spot in Sioux Falls where you like to go to unwind?
We usually just go in our neighborhood. So we're here on the west side by King Park. It's not far from school, so we can always go to the playground. And it's always fun to go up around the um, park around there. And also when it's apple season, the apple trees are blooming with the apples and pick fresh apples off the tree.
How about a go-to baking tool for both in the business, but maybe give one for people at home baking that you couldn't live without.
My KitchenAid. I know it's pretty expensive, but it is nice to not having to sit there and hand mix everything. It has so many attachments. I have like all the pasta tools. I have the meat grinder. I have all the little things that come with it. It's just fun to do things at home, and it's a pretty multi-use tool too. So,
Awesome. And then lastly, what's one piece of business advice that you wish you've known earlier?
ooh, that's a tough one.
Save a hard one for the last.
It is a hard one. I really, hmm, I think it's just to go for it, honestly. Like I been always had my this always had been my dream, and just things kept coming up, so it kept on being put on the back burner. And I wish I would have done it a long time ago, but because I mean, it's self rewarding. Um, yeah, I think it just go for it. If you have a dream, just do it.
That's
You'll
awesome.
figure it out along the way. So.
Alex, is there anything coming up for Baking Up a Storm, or any new ideas or recipes or anything that you're really excited about coming up here?
Coming up here is holiday season, so we are getting into Thanksgiving. So we are been roasting pumpkins and roasting homemade make roasting apples to make homemade fillings for pies coming up. And then after that, we're on to the Christmas season. So we'll be doing a lot of hot cocoa bombs and some Christmas cookie platters and stuff. So a busy
Awesome.
next few months here, and then we'll be back into the new year and see how it goes from there.
Well, for any listeners that are local, where would you set if they want to get in touch with Baking Up a Storm and yourself? Where would you send them to?
Yeah, so you can go to our either Facebook or Instagram page, Baking Up a Storm. You go to the website bakingbyalex.com, or we can download our app, Baking Up a Storm, and you can find us either way there, or you can stop in at the store. We're at 2301 South Lorraine Place inside
That's
the Blue. So
Yes. Awesome, Alex. Well, thank you for sharing your passion and hopefully inspiring some other folks to go after what they're passionate about. I've really enjoyed getting to know you. I wish I was in the office a little bit more. Maybe my waistline
yeah,
is glad I'm not here all the time, but thank you again, sir.
yeah. Yep, thank you.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.
Know someone with serious grit and a great growth story? Send them our way at grittogrowthpodcast.com/guest.